All right, let's see. Hopefully this is working. Let me see. Okay. All right. So today we have two live streams actually back to back, everyone. And I will be going over a couple of the things that we'll be doing today. But essentially, I wanted to showcase some of the functionality of the Nokia devices, the latest ones. Yeah, so I'm kind of like, excited to showcase these with you today. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of functionality that it works here in the United States, but there's a lot of things that do not work, especially reliably. But I kind of want to talk about that before we actually get to our interview for today. So we're going to have an interview today with the founders of an app that may help you kind of work through some things. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I will be going over a couple of dumb phones today, comparing them, contrasting, and everything that we're always used to. But around 11, we're going to switch the live stream. I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to invite some people. We're going to be doing a live stream today with them about this new product that they are releasing. This is not necessarily only for people that are looking for basic phones, but also for people that are looking into maybe keeping a smartphone around and not wanting to be distracted as much. It's a pretty cool concept. I've been actually using it for a little while now, and now that I had to, I'll talk about that in a little bit. Now that I have to use a smartphone for work, I find it to be a very good solution for a lot of distractions and things like that. Just kind of like reflexing and not using devices as much. But yes, around 11, I have to switch the setup a little bit, and I'll be, showcasing a couple of extra things. But if you have any questions in the meantime, make sure to put them in the chat. Sorry about the, kind of like different things. My computer, I don't have my webcam with me, so I have to use my phone, one of my phones right here. And I don't have one of those clips for my other side. But today we have the Nokia. Let's start with the 8210 right here. And essentially, I got these three devices, the Xpress Music with the headphones. I got the 8210, and I got the Nokia 2660 Flip right here. But they're all the same, essentially. They all work in a very similar manner. They all have the same operating system. So, again, I'll be talking about some of the functionality, some of the things that do work, some of the stuff that doesn't work. Let me fix this light to give maybe a little bit more light to this setup right here so you guys can look into it. Is that a little bit better? Hopefully. Let me see if I can. Yep, that's about as down as we'll go. Okay, I think that works just a little bit. Oh no, that's worse. I'll bring it closer then. Maybe I will adjust. I see. Yes. We need to adjust a little bit of the video here. Aha. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's better. Yeah, that's better. Looks a little brighter. But yes, we'll get over. Maybe I'll go a little bit closer. Right there. I feel like that's pretty good. I'll change the focus. Just give me a second. And bam, there you go. Now we can see a little bit better. Yes. So the Nokia 8210 right here in its full glory. I'll be doing a full review of the device and all of these devices that I got. I got the 5710, the Xpress Music with the headphones. I think it's really cool. I find myself fidgeting with it even just this last couple of hours. I mean, I've had it since yesterday, so I've liked to use it. And then, of course, the 2660 right here. You have it right here, the flip version. But let's start with, let me show you what the operating system looks like. And I'll actually bring my Nokia 2254G, which is the other version that we have that is kind of similar here for the United States. So one thing that I will say is I do not like the buttons on this device. The space in between right here makes it a little bit complicated to type fast. The Nokia 5710 has better keys right here, and I'll talk about that in the review, but it has a worse screen. So the screen of this one is great. This screen right here is subpar at the very best. So I think yeah, there it is. I'm going to turn on the phone. But the screen here, this one right here is worse than this one. I don't know why, but it just looks worse. Maybe it's because they had to put like this whole encasement, like they had to case it very interestingly. So I don't necessarily like it a lot, but you know, it is what it is. But I kind of want to just showcase some of the functionality. So essentially, these are very basic devices. They run Series 30 Plus. This is a version of Thread X. So yeah, again, the buttons, not a fan, except if you're playing like Snake. It's actually really accurate. But you have calls, right? They redesigned this menu right here to have missed, dialed, received, and rejected. Then you have the contacts. You can add up to 2,000 contacts. Yeah, so it's, you know, not amazing, but you can have groups and contacts, speed dial, settings right there. You can sort them by different things, and you can sync with an Android device via Bluetooth. On top of that, you also have a gallery, the camera, as you will see. Let me take a picture right here of this RTX. Let's go to the gallery. As you see, a picture it's not amazing. It's not I mean, it's legible, but it's not the best. So it's going to be like something around maybe like a 2 megapixel camera or something like that, right? But if you need to take pictures, it's pretty good. It's not the most crazy. It's not, you know, super great, but it's going to get the job done if that's what you need. Let's continue with our tour, kind of like in depth, so you guys know what you're getting into if you get this device. You do have a browser. I am not able to use the browser on this device since the how can I explain it? Since I don't have data, because it only works so far. I've been testing, of course, you know, that's what I like to do. But so far, it's only been working with the Speed Talk GSM SIM card. This is a T-Mobile virtual operator. And essentially, it doesn't work really well with anything else. It only works with Speed Talk, and it only works in a very specific area. So about 2 miles, maybe 1.5 miles from where I live, there's a park that's where I usually go, you know, to walk my dog. And that park has signal for 2G for this device. So I wouldn't recommend getting any of these devices for the United States market. But if you're in international, then I personally think that, you know, you can definitely go over and purchase one of these devices. And I mean, they're cheap enough that they're good replacements. They're good backup phones, or maybe you would going into camping for the weekend. I think it's a very good option. And of course, this one, the one that has the Bluetooth headphones, is quite intriguing as well. So if you want to just, you know, have something that you can play music with or have, you know, a lot of features, then that works. Let me bring my Nokia 2254G and I can show you what the browser looks like. So just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So, I believe this one right now has the, yep, I think it's this one that has the Speed Talk SIM card that I was talking about. And I do have an AT&T SIM card that should work. This has a, yep, Speed Talk right here. So I was testing the Nokia Xpress music. I took it to the park and it worked in that area. And then I decided to put it on the, I decided to put it on this next device, which is the Xpress music. So I'm kind of testing, I'm sorry, the 2660, the flip phone. So I'm going to go test. I'm going to go walk the dog again today, probably right after this live stream. And I will, after that, you know, kind of like relay information as to, hey, the Express music does work with 2G SIM cards if you have 2G in your area here in the United States. The call quality was pretty good. I mean, for being 2G, but I'm pretty sure VoLTE will have better results. So I will default you to maybe a reviewer in the UK or somebody in an international area that can give you better feedback on that. But I've heard that it's pretty decent when it comes to call quality. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. The Bluetooth headphones are quite cool, and the sound quality is actually very good. I actually enjoyed using the sound quality. So here, let me put this on so I can show you the browser. This is maybe size comparison right now between the 208210 and the 225. The 225 is definitely smaller, as you see right here, and definitely slimmer as well. So it's kind of like overall, it's just a smaller package. It's less intrusive. I actually like this device a lot. The main problem with this device is that it doesn't have a good connection. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so right here, that's how the browser looks like. Yep, got LTE again right there. So if I go to Google, you know, it will take forever, but it will get you there. So if you are in a pinch and you need to look up something, then definitely it's going to be usable. So, you know, right there you have a mouse. It's Opera Mini, nothing amazing. You're not going to have, you know, but this same browser right here will be the same version on this Nokia. I cannot showcase the browser, sadly, because no SIM card really works on this device. A working browser, I could show you the same thing. It's just going to be a bigger screen, of course, right? And it's going to look better. But let's continue with the tour. You have messages, right? You can compose messages. You can have blocked messages. You can have push messages. There is no group text message still. They have not fixed this for the Series 30 Plus, sadly. And yeah, so I'm not very kind of like it's you know, I'm not happy because this is, I believe it was in 2017 or 2018 that that the, what's it called, 3310, the reboot came, right? So it was 2017, 2018. They've had 4 years to fix this issue with no group text messaging, right? This device is text centric and of course call centric, and they haven't fixed. They have gotten VoLTE right, so finally we have 4G full LTE devices. They have gotten a lot of other things right. So for example, they do have the ability, I mean, we do have the ability to, you know, have the radio, music, SD cards, things of that nature. But still, we don't have the ability to use group text messaging, which I think it's a bummer because these devices will be otherwise, you know, very good if they just had that one feature, at least for the United States market, where we have a lot of group text messaging going, or, you know, SMS, things like that. And there's not a lot of adoption of like WhatsApp or Signal or Telegram. If you're in one of those countries, these devices are even less useful, in my opinion, because then you kind of run the risk of, you know, not having WhatsApp, not having, you know, some of those conveniences that you may need for your everyday communication. But besides that, text messages, they do have T9. So if you press this key, the pound key for a long time. Maybe it's the, no, yes, it is the pound key. Let me go back. Right there. So if you press the pound key, it changes right here. You can see ABC, ABC, 1, 2, 3, and then EN. If you see it right here changing, that's probably more legible now. So when you get to EN, there's a couple of other languages, and I'll get to that. You can type right here. So for example, I will type hi, yo are my live stream. There you go. You are in my live stream. Well, not in, but you know, right there. So it's a decent T9 engine. It's not, you know, the most amazing, but it gets the job done. And there are other languages as well, which I will showcase maybe in just a second. Let me see if I can change the language from here. There you have predictive text, attachments, options. You can insert a smiley or symbol, or, you know, if you have a template that you want to send, things like that. So that's messages. Basic experience is threaded messaging, so it's not inbox and outbox. I think that's a good improvement. I've been using the this one, the 2254G, and this one's actually pretty good. I haven't had issues with the texting bug that it used to plague it. Maybe it's because I'm in Mountain Time now and I was in Eastern Time back then. But as of right now, I haven't had any issues. So I'm really excited about that. All right, let's continue with the tour. You have the camera. I already shared a sample. This Facebook right here is not the app. So, to be honest, I would just say, like, it's just the browser. So it just opens up the browser and Facebook in there. So they're not tracking anything. Don't feel like it's, you know, they're not getting your information. I can showcase how that works on this one. So right here, Facebook, it just opens up the Opera mini browser and redirects you to Facebook. So it's not, you don't have to sign in. You don't have to log in. Maybe one thing that is kind of like annoying, right? It's that it's there, but you can just move it all the way down to the last page and never have to deal with it, essentially. So that's what I would do. But, you know, you can just move it from the current location to a different location. So I'm going to take a pause right here and I'm going to answer some questions. See if you guys have any questions or anything. We got a couple comments, got the 8210, but it does not update my contacts over the car. Other than that, the phone is okay. Austin, you send back your punked. That's okay. It can be, it's not for everybody, you know, and of course, you say that it had an issue, cracks down the side. Well, that's not good. Brian Carey says, I just bought a Nokia 105. Good phone, same operating system as this one. A little bit more basic. I believe that one still has the inbox and outbox, if I remember correctly. Saucy says, did you get your Xiaomi F22 Pro? No, I have not gotten my Xiaomi F22 Pro. It is actually coming, I believe, by Friday. So, or Saturday. No, yes, Saturday. So it is already in the United States. I already have a tracking code. AliExpress sent it that way. It already passed customs, so we will be getting it quite soon. And once I get it, I'll do one of these live streams kind of showcasing everything, and then I'll do a long-term kind of like 2-week review. How is it using, you know, stuff like that. Let's see. The quality of the plastic back is very poor on the new 8210. Yes, I agree, actually. Yes, I'm going to talk about that and build quality once I get to this one is a little bit better, the glossy version, this right here on the Nokia 225, but this one is a little flimsy. I was actually very afraid of breaking the Nokia 5710, the features right here on this one. I was very afraid of breaking it, but yes. Then we have a couple conversation. Yi J says, do you have the black and red one or the white and red one? I have the black and red one for the 5710. And more conversation between you guys. So that's cool. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. So let's continue with the tour. Right here, we have Snake, of course, if you want to play, right there, you have the ability. Maybe we'll do the 100 challenge again. I remember I was trying to like not look at the screen and do 100. There it is. Come on. Boom. What's up? All right. I'll leave it at that. I'll continue later. You do have an FM radio, and the good thing about the FM radio is that you don't need a connector for the headphone jack. So right here you have a headphone jack. A little blurry, but right here you have a headphone jack, and this does not need. You don't need to have a headphone connector in order to make the radio work. It works wirelessly. I actually think that's a very nifty feature. I appreciate that a lot. Then you have music, which this device has. Let's see. Okay, so this is interesting. So if I recall correctly, the 2660, which is the flip phone, does have a spot for a micro SD. A micro SD card. The Nokia 5710, which is this one right here, also has it. I'll showcase it in just a second. But this one, if I recall correctly, this is the one that doesn't have it, which I was kind of surprised. Or maybe it does and I just didn't see it. Let me see. Yes, it's right here. Okay, so they all have it. I thought that it didn't have it, but like right here at the top, you can insert it. Same as with this device right here with the Nokia 225 is at the top. So it does have a micro SD. I was going to misspeak right there, but luckily I didn't. I just looked it up. But yeah, it was kind of like, I was looking for it yesterday and I was like, oh, that's kind of odd. And I didn't see it up there, but it does have a micro SD card. I believe, so this is just because of the previous, I haven't tested, but because of the previous devices that I have tested on this operating system, it only works on 32 gigs. That's the max that I have been able to test successfully. So 32 gigs, that will be everything that, you kind of get. Then you have videos, which is essentially you can record videos from your camera. If you go to the camera and you press right there, you can record a video, Again, it's not going to be great. It's going to be very limited. So personally, I don't think you should take it. You should take video with this, but if you want to, there is such ability. You have settings. So let's go to settings, system, call settings, messages, backlight notifications, software updates, which they are not going to send. By the way, they're not going to send you a software update. If you buy this device, just buy it for what it is. You probably will never see a software update on this device or on any of the Nokia devices, the new Nokia devices, by the way. You do have connectivity, flight mode, Bluetooth, dual SIM, access points, network type, roaming. That's about it. There's no Wi-Fi, no hotspot on this device. So just, you've been warned. Don't get this device if you're trying to get hotspot, if you're trying to get that stuff. Then you have, here, let me go over YouTube. I need to update as we're going over a couple of things. I want to make sure that I have the content enabled for the live. And not only that, but also some timestamps so that people can follow if they come watch it a little bit later. Timestamps. We started at 00. It's been a couple minutes now. Let's see. It's been 24 minutes. So about maybe 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in. Nokia device, Nokia 8210 tour. And then we've been going and doing that for the last couple of minutes. So we're going to go back to that. All right. So let's go back to the tour. Personalization. You have the welcome note, sounds, which this is where you can take off the annoying sound from the keys. So you can take it off there. You can also have the volume right there. Ringtone, if you want to change it. Lock screen background. You can choose from gallery or wallpapers that are predetermined already. Not the most amazing selection. You can have a theme, change the color, that it highlights. I'll leave it in red. Then you have keypad, speed dial, lock screen shortcuts, font size. You can have large font or small font. I chose large font, and I don't know what smaller would be because this is already, decently small. But then you have time and language. Phone language, you have French, français, portugués, español, italiano, Deutsch, romana, or romana, maybe, whichever way you pronounce it. But you do have those languages or automatic right there, depending probably on the region or, where the carrier kind of gets the information from. You have security, which is key guard. You have an automatic key guard, and you have a security code. Call barring, you're able to use if you have a SIM card. I think I may be able to showcase this on the Nokia 225. Nokia 225, let's go to security, call barring, SIM card. Okay, just wait. And there you go. Let's showcase this part. So it's going to be outgoing calls, incoming transferring. It says ISD calling, outgoing when roaming, cancel, call barring. So you can, block calls that are incoming or, stuff like that. So it says Romana. Okay. I think that's how you do it. According to David in the comments, Romana or Romana or Romana. I think it's Romana if you do the accent in that first part of the word. Then you can go to settings, select options, and organize it. You know how it's organized. Flashlight on. Oh, by the way, it does have a flashlight here at the top. Let me see if I can activate it in just a second. You have storage. You can create a backup or prefer storage if you want to put it in the memory card. Power saving mode. This is actually new. This is very new. The Nokia 225 does not have this feature, but the Nokia 8210 does. And of course, the 2660 and also the 5710, they do have this ability. So power saving mode is a new feature. I don't know why that's a new feature, and group text messages is still not. But, I'm going to digress right here. I'm not going to go into it a little bit more. So you can put it at 20%, at 10%. Of course, whether you have the 4G LTE network or power saving mode, how it works, all of that good stuff. As you saw, the screen got dimmed by a lot. So that's probably the main, kind of like ability to kind of create something. Let's say the backlight, this is at 5. You can go all the way to 1. And you can go all the way to 7. And as you see, it's bright. This is pretty bright. But on like right there is a simulation since the light is right here. So that will be the sun. This is how it would look. A little bit. You can still read it, but you will have a little bit difficulty. So, don't rely on it a ton. In the sunlight, it's going to be difficult, but, you'll develop some, kind of muscle memory to use the screen or certain functions or whatnot. But it's a little bit dim, so depending. But you can increase it right there to the maximum and have it there. Let's see. That is settings. Then you have a couple games, Tetris. You have Racing Attack. You have English with Oxford, a dictionary. You have Blackjack. Then you have a calculator, alarm clock, and then you have the voice recorder, more games. You have counters, which is essentially to save data, files, torch, which we'll use in just a second, and then you have a calendar. Here you have the extras, countdown timer, stopwatch, torch, converter, things like that. So the torch right here, it works as you see. Boom, right there. We can inspect. I don't think you're gonna get, but it's not that bright. It's not amazingly bright, but you can, turn it on and off. So essentially turn on and you have it right there. Turn off and it will turn off. So that's what you need. Okay. So that is a little bit of the tour of the operating system. I don't think I've ever done in-depth tour like this one of the Thread X or Series 30. So there you have it. That's what's happening in 2022. But it's not, the most amazing. It's not the greatest operating system. It does do the basics, and it does have incredible battery life because, of course, you don't have a lot of, features over that. But, it does lack in certain areas, and especially when you're trying to do extra connectivity or have a specific, service or app. These are not the devices for you. So, don't go after them. But of course, if you're trying to simplify and just have calls and text messages, one-to-one, no group text message, then I think these devices are very capable and very good to use. We do have a couple questions. So I'm going to take those right now. So at about 30 minutes, 31 questions. So we have Austin. Do you know if any of the Nokia phones works with hands-free with the contacts updating too? I have the 8210 and calls work, but the contacts do not show up in the car. It's a BMW i3. So I don't think any of them will work with that. And the reason is because Thread X does not really convey information to other connections over Bluetooth. The one that I probably would guess has the best chance of doing that is the Nokia 5710 Xpress Music. And the reason is that it does have, I believe, Bluetooth 5, or 5.1, and I think that may be able to convey better than just through the operating system, if you will. So that's where I think you will have the best success. I will test with one of my friend's cars. I have a very old car. I have a 2004 Camry, so that one doesn't even have Bluetooth. But I will test with a friend's car and get back to you, hopefully on the Reddit or via Discord, or send me an email or something like that. Let's see. David Blondie says, I have a question. Besides the 4G capability, what will be the incentive to go for one of these new Nokia devices versus choosing one from their golden days? Let's say the N73, for example. Absolutely nothing. So if you are in Europe, in a country that is not shutting down 3G or 4G, I would say there is no reason why you should pick any of these devices. If you are in a country that has shut down 3G and 2G, then I would say, yes, it's better for you to do one of these devices because you want something super basic. But if you're looking for the best device for you and you still have 3G or 2G in your area, Nokia devices from old are amazing. I mean, yeah, literally you can get a Symbian device, or even, like something like Series 40 or the old Series 30. I mean, all of those will blow out of the water any of these devices. As Jitendra says, Nokia is certainly not listening to loyal customers. They have, overpriced boxy phones. They're way inferior, and I agree. I mean, I definitely agree. It's difficult to even get these devices nowadays, but eBay, probably here in the United States, also maybe AliExpress, I would say, maybe has some sort of ability to get some of those old Nokia devices. So yeah, I would just go on eBay and try to get it shipped internationally if you're international. Or I would get it maybe, I don't know, AliExpress, Alibaba. Sometimes they have some of those older devices, kind of like stock that just remain in China and stuff like that. So yeah. Somebody's asking for the Discord link for the dumb phone sub Discord. I will add it in just a second. Just give me a second, Austin. But there's no benefit, to be honest, for these newer devices. The only thing is that they have 4G, and sadly, since most most places are shutting down 4G right now, shutting down 3G and only allowing for 4G, then that's just the reality, right? So in which we live right now, and it is sad. I don't like it, I mean, personally, but I don't really have a way to fix it. So it's kind of tough. So there it is, the Discord link for those of you that need it, that may not have it already. So yeah, let's see, continue with the questions. Let's say, is there a way I can get Nokia devices from all? Talk about eBay. then do the battery still works? Well, it depends. You can find spare batteries though for those devices, so I wouldn't be super concerned about that. You can find spare batteries also on eBay and on AliExpress. There's still a lot of them that were probably packaged and never sold, and you can have that ability. So yeah, that's where I would look into. And yeah, so I would look into that, and then looking into those older devices if you still have 2G or 3G. And if you just want a simple device with 4G because you got that shut down, then these devices are going to be better. All right, now let's go over to the Nokia Xpress Music 5710. Number one, it does have a massive chin. Let me unlock it. So this is where the screen ends, and then it has all of this, and it's essentially to hold these, right? So this is why it has a massive forehead, essentially, the device. So the buttons on the sides are not very good, in my opinion. The build quality is definitely subpar, even comparing it to the previous Xpress Music that was 2G only. That one had way better buttons than this one. So the plastic here is not very kind of like nice to use. So I don't know. It's a detriment to the experience. So just giving you my opinions on the device. Then you have, of course, the same things as the other one. As you see, it's a very similar operating system. But of course, you do have a couple of extra things. You do have the Bluetooth TWS Connect, which connects to the Bluetooth headphones that are on the back and that they charge. And then you have anti-lost features. And I don't know how to use that yet, but I will kind of like be figuring it out. But essentially you have that. That is something extra that this device has. Besides that, it does have pretty much all of the basic functionality that the other one brought with. Power saving mode, storage, security, time and language, connectivity, things like that. So yeah, that's about it. But the headphones are actually pretty comfortable, I will say. So you have, you take them out of here and you put them in, and they connect automatically to the device. And it actually works really well. So I would say that the audio quality is decent. It's actually very good for being a basic phone. But here you have the earbuds, anti-lost. To locate your earbuds, please send a request to flash the lights. Okay, so what lights? Okay, so it has a light here at the top, but honestly, I don't think you're gonna see that. It's like a very faint blinking light. I don't think that you probably can see it. But even if maybe here, give me a second. I'm going to put the light off. All right. Let me see if you can even. All right, let's see. Maybe this works a little bit better. Finding earbuds. Yeah, you see it right there? So that right there is the light that you're dealing with. I don't know how this is going to help you find them. Maybe if it's in a dark environment, to be honest. But yes, I don't necessarily think it's going to be an extremely useful feature. But if you lost them in a dark environment and you can see the light, great. Hopefully it will be within hours that you lost, or minutes, Again, I don't find it super useful, but you make your own call. Let me put back the light so we can see the device here better. Perfect. All right, so yes, so that was that. It does have that feature. And it tells you, of course, how much battery the earphones have. I assume they last for a very long time. And I can listen to the radio. So, okay, this is going to be a rant right here, and it's going to be a rant on the review when I make it, because here's one of my biggest issues with this device. So the radio works well. I'm listening to the radio right now on right here, and it works pretty great. You know, you can have Bluetooth, so it plays over Bluetooth, and of course, you know, it stays, which is nice. It plays wirelessly, very in my opinion, it's a very good feature. But here's my problem. My problem is that this device, it's Xpress music centric, right? Well, sadly, oh, let me show you that mechanism. I think it's kind of cool. So when you put it back, it's kind of like magnetic. So, you know, it kind of goes in. So yeah, it starts charging, then you can put it back. But my main problem with this device is that this is the music centric device, and it doesn't have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. So let me put it a little bit on top, go a little bit further, refocus. Maybe I can put, give me a second. So this one right here, right, doesn't have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. It has oh, by the way, all of these are micro USB. So if you were sad about that in the past, well, you'll still be sad now. But it doesn't have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And that to me is a detriment to this device, because again, these devices, let me put it closer. These devices are great devices for, you know, somebody that wants something very basic, but not having a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on a phone that is supposed to be music centric, I think is a big omission. You have then the, here, let me put the flip phone back. But the flip phone one does have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack right here. And this one has it at the top right here. So I really do not understand what went through Nokia's head on this one, because I like the device. It's actually very nice. It holds well in the hand. It's a little bit bulky. It's a little bit bulkier than I expected. But of course, you know, they had to find a way to, you know, make a space for the headphones. But I'm just like, man, like, you missed a very big opportunity. Why not put a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on this one? So I was not very impressed with that. Personally, it's a personal preference. I think that if a device is music centric, you cannot make that device 3.5, not have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. I mean, just use the Bluetooth headphones, I guess. But, you know, I personally don't think it was a good idea. Those are just my opinions. All of these use micro USB. That's another thing. Another thing, this device right here. So the flip phone, right? So this flip phone is literally essentially the same device, same form factor as the Nokia 2760, which is a device with KaiOS that it's sold here in the United States. And that device has USB-C, and this device doesn't. So this device has micro USB, and that other device has USB-C. And I'm like, what are they doing? Like, you know, international market still has USB-C. It's not like we haven't been moving towards this standard. Like, I understand devices, you know, that were released before the 2020s that, you know, may not have USB-C, you know, maybe even the 2020 devices released. But I mean, the adoption has been going on for about 8 years now. We should have something better. So we deserve better. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. We need to have a little bit of accountability, if you will, with Nokia. Let me put this back. Give me 1 second, guys. We've been going for 030, maybe 34 to Nokia Xpress Music 5710. Yep. Perfect. Right there. I'm just trying to update it so that people can find it later. But again, good things coming from Nokia in a sense, because they're at least updating their devices, different form factors, if you will. But the operating system is still very janky. The operating system is still not great. And I just think that they could have done a better job with updating some things in the operating system, or maybe giving us Just giving us USB-C would have been, I think, a big improvement. But sadly, they decided to go profit over people. And that's what most companies at this price point do. I mean, I don't necessarily blame them because, most people at this price point, we're talking about 55 euros, so about $70. No, not even. Now the euro and the dollar are pretty much the same. But yeah, 55 euros or 60 euros. We're talking about essentially, $60. And at that point, they're not really giving you any support. And this is where I just talk about this is the difference. This is why I personally use the light phone, right? So you have the light phone with these devices. It's definitely a different device. It's definitely more expensive, but at least I get support and updates. So, when you're deciding over a device, think about how long-term and what are the functions that you're going to need. If you only need calls and text, $60, this is a no-brainer. $60, this one's like $80, and this one is as well $60. So when you're talking about those prices, yeah, of course, no-brainer. If you only need calls and one-to-one text. And it does have functions like alarm, calendar, all of those basic things. But you're going to find certain annoyances, certain things that are just not going to work reliably because, again, the device is not going to be updated and the device is not going to get support. But you have some of those things coming over, and you kind of have to make a decision. A couple of extra things for the Nokia 2660. Okay, let me go over the 2660 now. Put that on the show notes. This is the last one, and I'm about to jump off because I need to start the next live stream, which we're going to be looking at some software. If you have a smartphone or if you have a browser, actually, this software may help you recover a lot of productivity time and stop wasting it on websites, social media websites. So we'll be talking about that with the founders of ClearSpace in just about 5 to 10 minutes. Actually, I need to text them and tell them like, hey, just give me a second, I'm about to be there. 2660 it starts now. So a short, quick 2-3 minute review of this one, and then we'll go over the next one. J Mike, I'll get to your question in just a second. So this one, same operating system, very similar, but it does have a shortcut key. So if you go back right here, this key right here opens up. You can lock the keypad. You can go to settings, alarm clock, torch, music, radio, files, snake, calculator. So all of these tools are shorter clicks. You don't have to find them. They're like just right there for you to use, which I think it was a nifty feature. Actually, that's something that I do like about this specific device. Also, about the Nokia 2660, this one brings something different. I don't know what it is yet, and I'm going to try to find out over the next 2 weeks as I review all of these devices, is that this one actually runs the latest version of the operating system. So if you go here to About page and Product Info, you will see that this one is the Mocore 20A MPW22046 P4 release, but this one contains this kind of like HMD Global OY, whereas this one right here, let's go to settings, system, about, and you have the Mocore 20A MP 2226.1 release. So this one is on the 20. Give me a second. This is on the 2204.6, and this one is on the 22.26 release. Now, if you see at the bottom of this one, though, I'll go a little bit closer. All right. Give me a second. I'm going to change to manual focus. If you see right here on this one, it still has the 2020 markings right here, 2020 HMD Global OY. So a little bit of kind of like interesting that this one is running maybe more recent. I don't know. I'm going to try to find out if there's any significant differences. I don't think there are any significant differences, but I'll check it out. So this one, I I think that it should have been released with KaiOS because it is already released with KaiOS here in the United States. So I don't know what happened with this one, but you know, it is what it is. This one also has an extra button right here. And this button, as you saw right there, is an SOS button. So this is maybe geared towards the elderly. Long press for SOS call, and you can make sure to have those menus right here on the settings app. I believe it's on personalization, maybe on the back. Give me a second. I was playing around with it yesterday, but in one of these, maybe it's in extras. No, it was on settings. So when you go on settings, there is a feature for SOS right there. So device, SOS, in case of emergency contacts, SOS message, please help me on an emergency. SOS settings, you make a call, you make a text message, and you can add contacts up to 5 people to contact right away. I think this one's good for safety reasons, and it doesn't trigger with just one press. So if I press right here on the side, it gives me that long press for SOS call. And if I long press it, it will, you know, try to do the SOS call. But I mean, right now I just have emergency calls, right? So it will not do it, but it can call a relative. It can call, maybe you set up for a specific number, things like that. It will work. Okay. All right, let's go into last questions. So again, 0. What time is it now? Since the 52:00, last round of questions. And again, stay tuned. I'm about to publish another live stream, guys. We're going to be talking with the founders of ClearSpace, and we will be talking about that in just a second. So don't stay in the channel. Stay around the channel. We'll be doing that. So the question is best dumb phone for WhatsApp. So the best dumb phone for WhatsApp, there's a couple ones that I can give you. I'm actually going to show you though. Let me see if I can. Perfect, right here. The dumb phone finder. So as always, the dumb phone finder comes to rescue. So if you go to dumbphonefinder.com, let's see right there. Let's turn off my webcam or video capture device and show on the screen capture. I believe that should work, right? Is that working? Yes. Okay. So if you go to dumbphonefinder.com, you will get here to the dumb phone finder, which was made by me. So you can find here on the side, there will be a compatibility feature. I'm making sure that you can see it. Actually, let me move this here, right there. So this is the dumb phone finder. Sorry guys, give me a second. I'm trying to move some things. There it is. That's better. Okay, so in the dumb phone finder, there is a tab that talks about all of the operating systems, the different things that I've talked about. And then there's a WhatsApp. If you want WhatsApp, you can click yes. And then if you want a device that also gives you WhatsApp web, which is, you know, something extra, then you can also have it there. And this filters all of the devices that have that ability. Depending on your region, you may need to investigate a little bit further. Does the AGM-M7 work in my region? Can I purchase it? Things like that. But all of these should have WhatsApp web, except this one. This one got in here for some odd reason, and I'm going to fix it. Also this one, I don't know why. I will fix this in just a second. All of these KaiOS devices are not supposed to be here. So let me remove yes and just use WhatsApp web. Yes, so with WhatsApp web, it will show you the devices that have the ability to use WhatsApp web. I need to fix that. That is a bug. That shouldn't be there. The KaiOS devices shouldn't be there. So maybe I'll add a different filter for that one. Maybe I'll put with WhatsApp web and without WhatsApp web. Maybe that's the way that I'm going to do it. But with WhatsApp web, yes with WhatsApp web and yes without WhatsApp web. So Xiaomi F22 Pro, F21 Pro, Sony XP5 Plus, XP5S, and you can look at the devices that, you know, kind of like appeal to you more and get that device and use it with WhatsApp. So those are my recommendations for you, J Mike. So yeah. So we have one last question from Pavan. It says, my question is, do 2660 Flip has an EQ music app? I believe so. This is the music app, and this just shows. Oh, sorry, I need to showcase my my video capture device right here, and the screen capture goes off. So this is the music app. It only showcases this. I don't think it does have an equalizer for this device, but I'll be playing around with it. Stay tuned to the Reddit or the Discord, and I'll if I find some extra information about that, I will let you know there. All right, guys, I will be back on this live stream in just a second because we have a great interview with two founders for ClearSpace, which is an app that helps you save a lot of time. And it's free for certain features, and also it has some premium features that we'll talk about. And you guys may be able to give some feedback to that to them. So stay tuned. I'm about to publish the link in just a second. There's another live stream that's just about to come.